I started this video with a comment made by quite a few millionaires, multi-millionaires, and that is despite Keir Starmer, all he wanted was them to pay just 1% of their massive wealth. 1%. And the multimillionaires refused, arguing that poor people are suckers. There are enough working class and poor people who will foot the bill. They don't have to do it. And obviously what people don't realize is that I think we do, but we find it too painful to admit, and that is the government doesn't, this fake democracy that once you vote the government in, you're voting for favorable, positive policies, not realizing the super rich that rule the world. Not the government. If rich people said to the government, look, we are going to leave the country if you tax us, what would happen to the average working individual? You end up like the 1920s in a depression. So the government are eating out the hand of the super rich. They are in control, not the government. I don't care whether it's Nigel Farage, I don't care who's in power. At the end of the day, corporate companies rule the world. They can talk nationalism, they can whip up racism till the cows come home. When it comes down to it, they have to follow what the super rich and the corporate companies want. Okay, and let us show how they avoid paying taxes. The queen left, I think it was 30 million to Prince Harry. 30 million, and tax free. You know how she did it? She did her inheritance tax while she was alive. She left a will, right? And while she was alive, if you want to avoid this inheritance tax, make sure you do the will while you're alive, not when you're dead. If you leave it until you die, then you pay inheritance tax. So the Queen, she had a good accountant, and she was ahead of the game, right? And obviously Prince Harry will now get 30 million tax free because his grandmother was a clever woman. And it's said with rich people, they maximize pension contributions, explore EISC investment schemes. They always invest. Have you wonder why the rich are always investing? Very clever. Because if they invest, they can argue that money doesn't belong to them. It's an investment. Considering charity donations, utilizing pension carry forward allowances, taking advantage of loss relief. I remember a friend of mine, years ago, who had businesses, and he'd always argue, show more losses, never profit, because they will tax the profit. And so as long as you can show losses, you can set up businesses after businesses, right? If you can show losses, then you don't get taxed. And these are multi-millionaires. Okay, can you imagine as a working person, you saying, well, something, I'm in debt, I can't pay my rent this month. They don't give a damn. You still got to pay your taxes. They also, make the money, they make the most out of ISA allowances. Right? I mean, my next video is going to be why starting a charity is probably the best way forward. Why do you think your churches are charity? Why do you think the pastors are multi-millionaire? And they don't pay taxes. There's so many loopholes, that these accountants and lawyers, help these super rich avoid. Only we poor people, we're the suckers. We're the suckers, you know. And this idea that Nigel Farage, Keir Starmer, you know, represent working class people and they're multi-millionaires. And people, we fall for it. Nigel Farage, you know, let's deal with Nigel Farage, a banker.
Have to think about healthcare very, very differently. And I think we're going to have to move to an insurance-based system of healthcare. Frankly, I would feel more comfortable that my money would return value if I was able to do that through the marketplace of an insurance company than just us trustingly giving 100 billion a year to central government and expecting them to organise the healthcare service from cradle to grave for us.
Sitting on the EU as an MP, made his money as an MP in Europe, and yet he claimed he represents white working class poor people. Yet, I can't remember where it was, that area where they claimed it was racist, and they all voted in this banker, this super rich millionaire. And you know what Nigel Farage did to his own people, his own white people, this rich, super rich? You know what he did? Not even 1% of his surgery. You know, coming and meeting up with his, you know, supporters, not even 1%. He got their vote, he got their trust, he whipped them up emotionally and with anger and hatred, and then he told them, thank you, good and faithful servant, now clear off. He didn't even go back to that area.
Have to think about healthcare very, very differently. And I think we're going to have to move to an insurance-based system of healthcare. Frankly, I would feel more comfortable that my money would return value if I was able to do that through the marketplace of an insurance company than just us trustingly giving 100 billion a year to central government and expecting them to organise the healthcare service from cradle to grave for us.
Some white people were clever. Some white people says, no way, he's using us. And they were right. Rich people, the bankers, they are clever. They are one step ahead of the game. But it's we poor people who are dumb, right? I give up listen to these politicians when they debate, and they have a colossal amount of language at their disposal. They know how to charm a honey from a bee. And that's what we poor people lack. We don't like to read. We hate reading. We don't like knowledge. And that's the reason why these rich people, they're clever. They know how to avoid paying taxes. They hire the best lawyers, they're the best accountants. They know how to, you know, I'm gonna make a video, my next video is how poor people can also avoid it. You know, legally, I must use that term legally, how you can legally avoid paying taxes. Life is a game and you have to know how to play it. Because that's how rich people and the government and politicians play games with poor people. Conquering black and white people, you know, at each other's loggerheads, you know, creating racism while they get rich and richer and richer. It's a game, it's a monopoly, it's a game of chess. And until you know how to play it, you will never wake up, you'll be asleep. I hope you enjoyed this video, and please don't forget to subscribe.